To other news now. In Brussels, NATO has agreed to consider a joint missile defense system with Russia. The sign of cooperation comes after relations between the two sides had taken a dive following the South Ossetian conflict last year. It comes as the alliance's foreign ministers pledged to send 7,000 more troops to Afghanistan.
Relations between Moscow and Brussels were significantly chilled by the conflict in South Ossetia in August 2008. And despite the current thaw in relations, Russia's foreign minister Sergei Lavrov has stressed a lot of unresolved issues still remain. Two former rivals looking for a unified approach. NATO says it's ready to study linking US, Russian and its own missile defense capabilities into one joint system. All 28 members of the alliance also say they will continue to back plans to work alongside Russia.
In terms of the START treaty, there are vigorous discussions taking place, a constructive dialogue. But Americans have high hopes and expectations on what they want to get from us. We, of course, want something as well. Overall, the negotiations are tough, but good.
Just 1 year ago, it was merely impossible to believe these agreements could be reached.
I'm very pleased that this meeting is taking place today. We have seen a long period after the crisis last August when the NATO-Russia Council did not meet. But the fact is that the NATO-Russia relationship has become an indispensable security bridge across Europe. There are too many issues which we need to discuss, too many challenges we need to face together in order to secure our common home.
The conflict in South Ossetia in August 2008 significantly chilled relations between Moscow and Brussels. NATO members were accusing Russia of using extensive force, but even now, during a thaw in relations, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov warns Georgia's military efforts are growing once again.
It is not incidental that I dwelled upon this Georgian weaponry problem. It's a serious problem. According to some estimates, the capacity before the war, the military capacity of Georgia, has been restored, and armaments are being supplied, and most of them are offensive. Why should Georgia need it? And I think all understand how risky it is to arm this regime. Something must be done about that, and we've discussed this with our partners in NATO.
Afghanistan also proved to be a mutual concern. Russia is suffering from an influx of drugs coming from the country. And although Moscow has said it will not take part in military efforts, it has recently opened an air corridor for US military planes delivering cargo to Afghanistan. Useful help, especially since US and NATO have decided to send 7,000 additional troops to the country.
I think it leaves everyone sceptical, doesn't it? I mean, why would you send so many troops on the one hand and say that you're going to leave in a year and a half?
Whatever plans NATO may have for Afghanistan, Moscow stresses the alliance's efforts would be difficult to achieve without regional players. Despite a recent chill in relations, Moscow and Brussels have managed to move on. By drawing up a plan for cooperation, they have cemented their partnership. And it seems both sides agree that only by working together can Russia and NATO fight the mutual threats they have, as long as both focus on the future and not on the troubled past. Yegor Piskunov, RT, Brussels.